And Annabelle, it's so strange because it was just a few months ago that Zhang actually agreed to lead the cloud division in particular.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, this was a sort of succession plan that came a couple of months ago when Daniel Zhang essentially decided to cede or agreed to cede his two positions as the CEO and the chairman. So he was taking up the cloud division. It has been one of Alibaba's key growth drivers and one of the divisions as well that the company had highlighted or tipped to be amongst the first to spin off. But he has decided to quit. This is coming via an internal memo seen by Bloomberg News just yesterday. The reason he's leaving the division, that part is a little bit unclear, but as I said, he did assume that post after ceding his dual roles of Chief Executive Officer and Chairman. But certainly it has been a very storied tenure for Daniel Zhang at Alibaba. It was a time in which it became China's largest company. It ventured into new areas like physical retail, and that did become as well one of the company's fastest growing businesses. The CEO, though, or former CEO, is still going to be part of the Alibaba landscape because he's actually going to be steering instead a $1 billion tech investment fund. And that as well, Vonnie Heidi, is on Alibaba's behalf.
We're seeing Jack Ma's lieutenants really taking the helm.
Yes, these are two key players in Alibaba. So there's Eddie Wu and then Joseph Tsai, who have both been very close confidants of Jack Ma in the past, and they're formally taking up their positions now as of Sunday. Essentially, that is the dual roles here of Chief Executive Officer that goes to Eddie Wu, Joseph Tsai, meanwhile taking up the role of Chairman. So those two roles that had been occupied by Daniel Zhang, but certainly a very complex landscape for this pair to be navigating here, because as we say, this is really about trying to unlock further growth drivers for Alibaba and really to spin out several different standalone companies and sectors, as say from cloud services that Daniel Zhang had been helming to logistics, online shopping, all different key areas. So they've really got to now try and shoulder that burden of turning around to Alibaba and trying to help it regain its footing. You can see there those stocks trading fairly flat year to date, but certainly we have seen the tech sector generally under pressure. Both of these men, though, they are business heavyweights within Alibaba. They have been with the company for a period, and they've really been focused on that tech and the strategy part of Alibaba's business. And of course, that has been really key to its success so far.
What's the latest on the breakup then?
Yeah, so this really comes down to the different divisions that Alibaba is trying to spin off, and one of those that had been highlighted is Fresh Hippo. But what we understand now is that it's putting any plans for a potential IPO or listing in Hong Kong on the back burner, and that is really amongst weak sentiment. Of course, Hong Kong, we have seen a lot of foreign investors leaving this market. There has been a lot of pressure on different sectors in particular, but consumer stocks is certainly one of them. So sources, they're now telling us that essentially Alibaba had held some early talks with investors, and what they found out of those was that any sort of valuation that the unit had been looking for was unlikely to be quite as high. So they had wanted up to $10 billion, and they were hearing from investors that a likely valuation would be around the $4 billion mark. So quite a big gap here, and that is why that they've decided to take it off or put it on the back burner, Heidi, for now.